Good morning, everybody. On this Tuesday, it is April 16th. I'm Chris Allen here on the Sam Channel, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and X. All sponsored by Ace Hardware Marketplace. Well, you can see we've got some rain on the radar back behind me on all the networks. They're talking about severe weather in other parts of the country today. Not so much here in southern Kentucky, but severe weather is something that we need to pay attention to. This is April, after all, in Kentucky. 26 years ago today, April 16th, 1998, we had the hailstorm of 98, the great hailstorm of 98. They came right through Bowling Green, produced grapefruit size hail, about that big, about as big as my hand. Then it was flooding, then it was tornadoes, damaging winds. It was a day that if you were around Bowling Green or Southern Kentucky in April of 98, you will never forget that. I'll never forget that, going through, that night, going through Scottsville Road and seeing just about every vehicle at all the car lots. Jim Johnson, Gary Force, Campbell Chevrolet, Martin, you name it. They were, first of all, it was total darkness because there was no electricity. And then when your headlights shined on those brand new vehicles, those brand new 1998 vehicles, and they were all destroyed. They were all just like somebody got a ball peen hammer and just knocked out the windows and just put big dents in the cars. You can't forget that. But it was 26 years ago today when that happened. A day we'll never forget. Over $500 million in damage. Just for Warren County, just for Bowling Green and Warren County. And that's $1998, not $2024. It would probably be in the billions, or at least $1 or $2 billion in 2024 dollars, if something like that should happen today. We don't have that. We're not going to have that. What we're seeing right now is just from the Plano cloud cover and some rain. There goes the neighbor. Looks like somebody's moving in or moving out down the street in those apartments across the street from me. That's not a good day to move. The rain is light that we're getting this morning. There's no thunderstorms, but there are some showers in the area, which we said last night there may be a few pop-up showers, and some of that's kind of sticking around here this morning. But a shower is possible today, this morning, and then we may see more a little bit later on. Let's look downtown. Here is the AAA Systems live cam from Reservoir Hill, looking on downtown Bowling Green. And if you're watching from another state or watching from another place and you want to see downtown Bowling Green, there it is. Some of it's covered up with the trees, but it's a beautiful downtown, and cloudy sky. Some light rain showers are passing through right now. But again, this is all just nothing significant, nothing that's going to be something that's with us all day. In fact, I was just looking at the shower chances are really not high at all. They're about 10 to 20% this morning, and we're getting that now. And again, when I say 10 to 20%, that doesn't mean how intense the rain can be. You can have intense rainfall with just a 10% chance, because chance is more about coverage than it is how hard the rain is going to fall. You can have 100% chance of rain and it just sprinkle. It's about the coverage. It's not about the intensity. So I just wanted to clear that up because people always get that confused, it seems like. Yesterday we had a high for the second day in a row, 85, which was only 3 degrees shy of the record of 88 set back in 1924. So it was another very warm day yesterday, and it's going to be another very warm day today, along with a chance of seeing a shower in the area. But the better chance of rain is going to come once we get on into late tonight, tomorrow night, and Thursday. So let's take a look at the current map, and here you see why. Look at that intense low pressure system over Nebraska, 992 millibar. Look at all the tightness of that wind gradient here. Pressure gradient means wind gradient. So the winds are gradient. I wanted to say great and gradient in the same word. Try to mesh it together. Gradient. You get it. There's a lot of wind coming up from the south. Right now it's not too breezy, but the winds will pick up today as that system draws closer. Let's check radar. And yes, we have showers here, but I want the focus today is going to be on all this nasty thunderstorm activity that you see ongoing north and west of Kansas City, up to Omaha, Nebraska, Des Moines, Waterloo, Rochester, Sioux Falls, on out into the plains, even all the way back to Denver. Some thunderstorm activity going on. For us, it's just a little boundary that is trying to touch off some of these lighter showers that we're seeing this morning. Let's put the last hour in motion so you can see how these are pushing through. Yeah, there's not even a lightning strike out of any of this. It's just a little moisture. You know, the dew points did get into the mid 60s yesterday. We'll be close to that again today. There's plenty of available moisture. There's a little boundary out there that's helping spark some of this, but I really don't foresee a whole lot coming out of this today. Just a few showers, mainly this morning. How's the satellite look? Well, it's cloudy. I don't think we're going to see a whole lot in the way of sun today, although there will be a few times when we are seeing some sun break through, partly to mostly sunny in the afternoon, and then that shower chance popping up again. But I think the main focus of what we need to pay attention to is going to come later tonight and during tomorrow. There will be a couple of rounds, one in the morning and one in the afternoon on Wednesday. And those are the systems that we're going to need to pay attention to. So there you go. All right, let's move on to current conditions from the Kentucky Mesonet Network. Where did you go? There you go. All right, just had to click the right button, and here you are. All right, almost 67 here in Warren County this morning in the Bowling Green area. Most of the state is in the 60s, even some upper 60s back into western Kentucky. But here we are in Bowling Green, 66, 67, lots of the same things around us. How about so far precipitation? Let's start since midnight, since it's just getting underway, and not enough to even register. You could call it a trace so far, but that's it. And here we are at exactly 8 o'clock as I do this podcast this morning. How about the winds? The winds are coming, like yesterday, from the south at maybe 5 miles per hour. Breezy? Yeah, time to time, 10 to 15. The winds will pick up a little bit more this afternoon from the south at 15 to 25. But as far as being windy, not really windy, just a little bit of a breeze from time to time today. But that's it. Okay. All right, let's take a look now at the model blender, because it's going to show us and tell us what we can expect over the next 7 to 10 days. And definitely a little bit cooler coming in for the weekend, but not wholesale cooler or wholesale even colder. It's going to be a little cooler, or even coolish. I wouldn't even go so far as to, I hesitate to use the word cool. It is going to cool down, But compared to what we've had lately with mid 80s, anything even in the 70s is going to be considered a cool down. 60s is kind of a reset. Average high this time of the year is 71. So we're going to be closer to that than we are the mid 80s, as you can see. Now, today, I do think we'll get into the mid 80s once again, possibly hitting 85 again, depending on a lot depends on whether we get sunshine or not. Originally, I had partly to mainly sunny, but with these clouds hanging in like they are this morning and the showers that are a little more widespread this morning, we may not make it to mid 80s. Then tonight, how about mid 60s? Showers and thunderstorms become a little more likely during the overnight hours after midnight. Those not really considered or will be considered severe. There could be a stronger storm in there depending on how much instability we get today. Then tomorrow, I think whatever develops overnight into tomorrow will hang around, not just for tomorrow, but come in two parts, one in the morning and then one in the afternoon. It's the storms in the afternoon we've got to pay attention to. And they'll be heated, once again, as you can see, low 80s tomorrow, going about 82. We go 84, maybe 85 or 86 on Thursday, with another storm chance before things begin to cool down. The dew points start to come down on Friday behind a cold front. As we get that eastward push, that system gets out of here, and that's when we cool down for the weekend. But look at that. Low to mid 60s, that's pleasant. That really is pleasant. For Saturday and Sunday, lows, low to mid 40s, not cold, not frosty, just a little on the cooler side. But it won't take long for us to heat back up and go right back into the 70s for highs, 50s for lows as we head into much of next week. So, yeah, it's going to cool down a little, but not a lot. This is not a situation where you're going to have to bring in the plants or cover them up. We're not even going to be close to freezing over the next 7 to 10 days. So you're not going to have to worry about that. Everything will be just fine. So let's talk about the storm chances and how these systems are going to move through the area starting today. Here we go with the boundary that in some cases the models didn't really pick up that well on this morning. Like the rain that we're getting right now, the models did not do a good job of picking up on that. We picked up on some of it. I showed you last night during the 10 o'clock news on News40, if you were watching, that there could be some, but mainly north of Bowling Green. Well, some of that came a little bit further south, and the models just did not do a good job picking up on that. So we've got that going for us. That's going to keep us a little cloudier. Even here, the synoptic, what's called the synoptic, or the terra firma, the earth forecast, earthly forecast from the top down, showing with all the wind barbs and all the or the isobars in the fronts. That's why it's called a synoptic outlook. Doesn't show anything here this morning, but it's there. It's raining right now, as a matter of fact. Let's go to later. Let's see, wait a minute. This didn't start on the right day. There we go. Okay. So here's right now. Yes, it did. Why is it's skipping around all of a sudden? Something changed. Data, imagery, okay. I'm not sure why something isn't right. It's not showing me, like, it's usually split. Look at, it's not split that far. It's only showing me a few steps. It skipped yet tomorrow. See, it goes from 1 o'clock this afternoon to 7 a.m. Thursday to 7 a.m. Friday. I don't know what's going on here. but they got something hanky going on here. Wonky. Something wonky. But anyway, the front, you get the idea, stalling back to the west, and so it's going to keep showers in the forecast. There's Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Huh. I'm not sure what. Let me back it up. No, I didn't miss anything. So I'm not really sure what's going on from the Aviation Weather Center. They must not have a fresh update. Maybe refresh. No, it didn't change anything. Okay, sorry about that, folks. I didn't mean to talk you through all of that. But anyway, you get the idea, because as I looked at it earlier, and they had every step in there like we normally go through, but then it's like there's steps missing in there, data missing for some reason. So they may be having some kind of outage or some kind of data problem for some reason this morning. But you get the idea. With that front stalled to the west, it's going to keep us in the chance of showers for the next several days, and maybe even, as we've discussed, some thunderstorm chances, and maybe even some active thunderstorms. So let's take a look at that threat. The threat yesterday was along the Ohio River, and that's where it will be again today. As you can see, it's just almost in a bend here with the bend in the Ohio River. And north of that is where there's a level 1 marginal risk. Bowling Green, we're not really under a risk. We just have the general thunderstorm threat. Not really that big of a deal. It's not until you get over toward, say, Butler, Muhlenberg, Ohio, Grayson County, Ohio County, further west and north, that you have that possibility of a strong storm today. The greater threat is over Illinois and Missouri, even higher threat further northwest into parts of northern Missouri, where I showed you some of those active thunderstorms, Nebraska, Kansas, for today. Tornado risk, pretty much non-existent. Severe wind, damaging wind threat west of Bowling Green, but it's very low. Hail threat today, not a whole lot going on here. Now let's take a look at tomorrow. Now tomorrow is going to be the day, but even this has been adjusted back a little, but I always hesitate when this happens. And here's why. This has been adjusted based on last night's model run and a combination of model runs that are a bit, fickle. That's the best word I can come up with. Sometimes they're not trusted because of their inconsistencies. This one I don't really trust. I'm looking at the possibility that they could bring back a little bit more of that level 2 slight risk that they now have painted further north of the Ohio River on Wednesday, or Wednesday afternoon and evening. Yes, they have us in a level 1 marginal risk, and that's well and good. I just think this probably should come a little bit further south, but it is conditional in that we have to have the instability. We have to have the sun breaking through Wednesday to upgrade any of this for us. The tornado threat's going to be further kind of, again, north of the Ohio River for Wednesday afternoon. Severe wind threat, everybody could see some damaging straight line winds. And the hail threat is equal to where you saw the level 2 slight risk. There's a small hail threat in southern and central Kentucky for Wednesday. Whether that pans out or not, again, is what I call conditional. And what do you mean by conditional? Conditional means that between the round of storms tomorrow morning and the round of storms in the afternoon, if there is enough of a break between the two and the atmosphere has a chance to reload. In other words, after the morning storms, the sun comes back out, the winds pick up, you feel all that thickness, that mugginess, that humidity in the air. The dew points start to soar into the 60s. And then here comes the cold front, which is going to be the lifting mechanism, the trigger for more thunderstorms. Should that happen, then tomorrow afternoon and evening could be very active and more of a severe weather threat. I'm not saying it will be. And the last few times that this has happened, we've gotten by with just maybe just being, a touch of severe weather, and then it moves on. And we don't have the brunt of severe weather. One of these times we're going to get the brunt, just like we did 26 years ago today in 98, just like we did 50 years ago, a couple of weeks ago, with the 50th anniversary of the super outbreak of tornadoes. One of those times like that will happen again, and it will happen here. But I don't know. You don't know. No one at the Weather Service knows. No one at the Weather Channel or any other outlet knows. And this is why we're always harping on you to be prepared. If you're not prepared for these things, then you're just going to shrug it off as it's going to be one more of those times like Chris was talking about, where if this happens and if that happens, then we might get something, but usually we don't get much. Somebody else gets it. Please do not ever get that attitude. Please do not do that. Please, every time, take it seriously, like, yes, it could happen this time. Even though we don't see everything coming together like we had seen it those previous historic times, there's going to come that time when it's going to happen. And it could be one of those times when we least expect it to happen, and then everything just all of a sudden, just boom, there it is. The thing I don't want you to do, though, and a lot of you, I recognize your names in the chat room. I've had to talk through a severe weather event because you're scared. Okay, it's natural to be scared, but you don't have to be scared every single time. Being scared and being prepared are two different things. One's on this end of the scale, the other's on this end of the scale. I'd rather you be on the end of the scale that talks about preparedness, less about scaredness. Okay? And the way you do that is you keep yourself informed with a weather radio. That's one. Number two, with an app such as the News40 Weather App. Then you've got television, you've got radio, you've got SAM, you've got News40, you've got all these different outlets, internet. You've got so many ways to know and be prepared. That's how you don't get scared. I know it's not proper English, but that's how you stay away from fear. I had to learn it, and many of you have to learn it as well. I don't want you to be afraid. These things are always going to happen. For the rest of your life, however long your life is, they're always going to happen. And I don't care if these yahoos are always going to say, there's a way we can clean the earth and stop it from climate change, and it's up to us and it's our fault, so we have to fix it. You cannot fix weather. Thank God you cannot fix weather. It's impossible. Don't even go there. What you have to do is to be prepared. When you're prepared, you're not scared. I know, because I'm a living example of that. All right. You guys, thank you so much. Let's see. Oh, shall we hit a couple of, okay, I'll hit this one right here. Chats. Katie, I try to keep calm. Sometimes it's very hard. Hey, I get that. Let's see. Kay. Hey, Kay. Morning, Chris. It's raining at my place right now. Yep. We're getting a little bit. Who else? Sandra. Good morning. Glad I put up my car windows. Well, me too. And by the way, if anything happens, in that regard to, it rains in your car. It's not my fault. Just saying. That's on you. That's not me. All right. Who else? Sally. Thanks. Needed to hear that. Oh, appreciate that. Tanisha, been very stressed since the 2021 tornado. Know how to get past, don't know how to get past that. Yeah, I get it, Tanisha. I really, really do. So it's educating yourself, watching things like this with me explaining how the weather works, why it's happening, how it's happening, that it's a process of nature and that it's always going to happen. So once you get that, it wasn't until I got in my mind, there's no way to stop the storms. That's when I stopped being afraid and I started learning everything I could about the weather. And here I am, hopefully helping a lot of you stay calm. I'm not saying any of these are going to be tornado producing storms, but we've seen it happen before and it will happen again. Here, it will. Just like earthquakes haven't happened in over 50 years. They're going to happen again, just like they did back in the early 1900s. It's going to happen again. All that stuff. It doesn't stop. It takes a break, takes a breather, but none of it ever stops. And don't ever believe anybody that says, you know what, if we just had more funding, we could stop all these things. No, you can't. Good Lord. Don't fall for that. I do not want my audience falling for that crap, because that's what it is. Don't fall for that. If we just had more funding, we just had more, we could stop all this terrible stuff. Please don't believe that. You guys have a great day. God bless you. Thank you for watching as always. And I'll see you tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on News 40.